When Julius Caesar walked through the city, the cheering was so loud it rattled the marble statues. Mothers held their kids above the crowd just so they could say, "You saw him. You saw Caesar." And that, right there, was the problem. Because when a leader becomes too loved, too worshipped, too unstoppable,
I stand here among the true strength of Rome.
People who used to control the system, they don't celebrate, they start to panic.
His ambition threatens the very foundation of our republic. He must be stopped.
Behind closed doors, senators leaned in and whispered, "If the people love him more than they love Rome, then Rome doesn't belong to us anymore." They didn't ask, "How do we work with him?" No, they didn't ask, "What's best for the country?" They asked one question, "How do we get rid of him?" Not with an army, not with a war, something quieter, something cleaner, something permanent. All they needed was one moment, just one, where Caesar felt safe, and they knew exactly when that moment would come. The Ides of March was coming. A routine day, a Senate meeting. Nothing unusual, nothing threatening, because who would ever expect danger in the very building where the laws were written, where Caesar was respected, honored, practically worshipped? But behind the smiles and handshakes, a storm was forming. The center of that storm was Gaius Cassius.
He will be at the Forum unguarded, my lord.
The moment is set for the Ides.
Finally, Rome will be free.
A man with a polite smile and a heart of ice. Cassius hated how powerful Caesar had become. He hated how the people loved him. He hated how Rome was slowly turning into Caesar's Rome. But Cassius was smart. He knew he couldn't kill Caesar alone. Nobody could. It would take men Caesar trusted, men who sat at his table, men who laughed at his jokes, men who called him friend. So Cassius searched for the one man whose betrayal would cut the deepest, the one man Caesar would never suspect, a man loved by Rome almost as much as Caesar himself, Marcus Junius Brutus. Caesar loved Brutus like a son, and Brutus loved Caesar like a father.
You are like a son to me, Brutus. Rome's future is safe in your hands.
I will not fail Rome, Caesar.
They dreamed of Rome's future side by side. So how do you turn a son against his father? How do you turn love into a weapon? You whisper to him. You tell him Caesar is becoming a tyrant. You tell him Rome will fall. You tell him history will call him a coward if he stays silent.
We must act, Brutus.
Cassius planted those seeds, day after day, night after night. And inside Brutus, doubt began to grow. Brutus didn't want to believe it. He tried to push the thoughts away. He tried to remember Caesar's kindness. But every senator with a grudge, every jealous noble, every bitter man with power to lose, whispered the same poison. Save Rome from your friend. And finally, Brutus broke. He joined them. And once Brutus stepped in, everyone else followed. Dozens of them. Some for power, some from jealousy, some simply because they were afraid to say no. And together they made a promise. Caesar will not leave the Senate alive. But Caesar had no idea. The night before the Ides of March, the world tried to warn Caesar. The sky thundered without clouds.
By the gods, what is happening?
A slave's hand burst into flames, but did not burn. Even the priests said the sacrifices showed bad omens. The gods were speaking, and they weren't being subtle. But the loudest warning came from the woman who loved him most. Calpurnia woke in the middle of the night screaming. She dreamt Caesar's statue poured blood, and Romans washed their hands in it. She grabbed him and begged, "Please, do not go to the Senate. Something terrible is coming." And for once, Caesar listened. He decided to stay home. The gods had warned him he would obey. But that was a problem. The conspirators needed him at the Senate. Without Caesar there, the whole plan died. So they sent one man, the one Caesar trusted, Decius Brutus. Decius arrived smiling. "Great Caesar," he said.
The omens mean nothing, great Caesar. The Senate is waiting to honor you.
Decius told him the dream wasn't a warning, it was a sign of greatness. The blood was life, strength, a symbol that Rome was nourished by Caesar. And Caesar believed him. "Beware the Ides of March," Caesar turned. A soothsayer stood there terrified. Caesar said, "The Ides of March are here, and I am still alive." The soothsayer whispered, "The day is not over." Caesar kept walking, and Caesar walked up the marble steps of the Senate, straight into a trap built by the people he trusted most. Inside the Senate, everything felt normal. Smiles, greetings, polite nods. Caesar felt safe. And then it began. One senator stepped behind him. Another moved closer. A hand gripped his shoulder to hold him still. Caesar turned, half smiling, thinking it had to be a joke. Then, stab. He didn't scream. He just stared, shocked, betrayed. And through the circle of killers, he saw one face he knew better than anyone, Brutus. Caesar froze. The knives didn't hurt as much as that face. With what little breath he had left, he said,
Et tu, Brute?
"You too, my son?" And in that moment, Caesar stopped fighting. He didn't die as a tyrant. He didn't die as a king. He died as a man who realized the people he loved most never loved him back.